right, we got another episode of the Frosty Dinghy going on. We got the AI outlaw himself of J Mac Jerry over there. How we doing
What
tonight?
up? Oh, not bad, brother. Not bad at all.
So you had a pretty big day. You're throwing out your AI videos. They've been taking off. That's what you said last time. So do you happen to have your new hit song up and ready to go for us today?
I do. I'll give you a shot at the Laundromat Legend. This is the first one they come up with, and the first video I did, and it's kind of really taken off. Even to help launch the old merch line.
Got the old merch line going. What do you offer on your merch line right now?
Well, I'm still working on it. I just got the designs now. I'm working on prices now. When I roll this out, I'm actually going to roll out, if the prices are right, I only want to do like a $5 upcharge, and then I want to use that to go to charity. I'm still working on the details.
All right.
Go ahead.
I said, don't forget to hit up the lady that I hooked you up with a little bit.
That's right.
Field Bold Laser and Apparel Design LLC. Her and her husband running that. The old neighbors down the street. They've been doing a good job. They just gave me my new shirts this week, and they also threw on top one of those leather koozies. I'll have to let you take a look at that so you can see what they offer on the koozie line as well.
Hell yeah. Yep, I definitely plan on getting in touch with them and seeing what we can do.
So for the first time ever played on a podcast, we got the AI Outlaw. Awful big a hammer you got going on there, Chief.
Daddy left when I was just a tiny tot. Mama said he hit the jackpot on the spot. Went out for smokes and scratchers. One fine day won the lottery, leaving and just drove away. She said, boy, your daddy ain't dead, don't get excited. He just found freedom and happily ignited. He's the laundromat legend, dropping loads everywhere. Little spin cycles of children he'll never even care for. Call stock when I was 8 years old. Yes, parental love expired like milk in the cold. I got his face, but the resemblance is there. I stay, I love, I show up. He was never even aware. 42 years later, I get a wild surprise. Her sister pops up saying, hey, we got the same deadbeat guy. Guess he left her hanging too like a cheap bar sign. Collecting kids like coupons he never bothered to find. Daddy really out here building families like a franchise. Man, we produces more than rabbits, but sure never tries. He's a laundromat legend, dropping loads everywhere. Kids spinning in the drive, but he ain't never there. In front of way diver horses, he'd win every race. Fastest man alive, it vanishing without the trace. But joke's on him, cause I broke that chain. I'm the father he never was, and that drives on the pain.
So how'd you come up with your AI guy? Is that something you just threw together?
Yeah, actually, I just kind of gave in some parameters, and that's how AI generated it.
I prove it right every day with the kids, I never quit. He gave me his looks, but not his heart or his soul. He's a half-finished man. I came out whole.
One of the hardest lines of the song right there.
His map of kids spread wider than a desert camp. But while he was busy disappearing like a ghost, I built a family, that's what matters most. Daddy, thanks for leaving, hell, it worked out fine. I turned your absence into a punchline.
It's pretty damn good, man. So basically you wrote the song and then you popped it in your AI generator?
Yep, I used it's called Murica, and they helped me generate the music, and then I used a different platform called One More Shot, and they generated the music video for it.
Outstanding. It's definitely a good song. I'm glad you didn't
Thank you,
sing it
appreciate it.
yourself though. Just saying.
Oh yeah, no chance, no chance.
No, I definitely see why it's catching on and getting some traction. It's funny as hell, but I know it's the truth on top of that, which is makes it even better. You just kind of dug into a little bit of yourself to get that one out there. And you got
Yeah, I'm telling you,
you got the other one that you were talking about earlier. Well, we might have to get it on here on one of these other episodes.
absolutely. The Cadillac 3.
You betcha.
That
I
one,
listened to that one the other day and I thought that was funnier than hell as well.
yeah, I've got a few more I'm working on right now. I just got to see if I'm really happy with the final print of the video and then go from there. But I definitely got a few more coming out.
So I did find it was rather it's not quite you as the AI character there, not quite, but it does share some resemblance to yourself as well with the lead singer of that song.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I just uploaded a random picture of me, and then I kind of just set some things about the clothing and whatnot, and then that's how AI generated it. So there'll definitely so far there's been a general theme on my look in every video that I've made.
Yeah, you got a great mullet going on. I'm just saying.
Business in the front, party in the back, brother.
You bet. So, what platforms have you put that out on so far, other than Facebook that I know of? And I saw it on what
Facebook,
TikTok.
we got TikTok, YouTube, um, Snapchat, but obviously they don't stay very long.
Yeah, even if you apply them to stories. I'm sorry, I don't know how Snapchat works. I try to stay away from it, but I didn't know if the story stuck around for a while or if it was just like if somebody sent you a message, it just disappears after a bit.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long it lasts on there, but it only stays up for like say 48 hours or however you set it.
So what's your once the merch line gets going, what charity were you looking at sending the donations to on that? Do you have anything picked out, or are you going to keep it local? What's the plan on that?
On that one, I'll keep it local. But it'll probably change up. It just kind of depends on what's going on at the time. If anybody's reached out needing anything, it was just case by case. Or I might just build it up for a while. Sometimes I like to do some things big. I've been working on a razor for about the last week. Because I wanted to set out to help a few families. Um, a while ago, I went and bought flowers for a nursing home for all the residents. And my friend that runs that nursing home, she reached out to me asking about how I go about doing all my fundraising and stuff like that because I believe her daughter's 17 and works at Arby's, and there's a mother-daughter that worked there that's uh kind of needs some help from what we hear. I'm still working on getting details back, but all I know is they live in a house right now with no running water.
Ooh,
So kind of the big problem around the work was, they don't really have, they can't shower. So, they tend to smell. It sounds like they're kind of bigger people, I guess. So, I mean, work in that environment, it's hot. So my friend, she actually got them a hotel room for a night last week so they could shower and clean up and gave them some toiletries. So we're kind of working on that. So I wanted to put out and kind of show her daughter and explain to her how I, generate what I do. And so I set out to where I wanted to raise $1,000. Original plan was we'd figure out what that family needed, and I'd give them $500. And then something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go out to eat and leave a very generous tip. This time, my mindset was $500. And so I've been reaching out on Facebook about if anybody knows anybody that's in the service industry that, single mom or, just going through some tough times or whatever. And then I'd visit their establishment and, drop that. Well, I've been running this donation here for about a week now and we blew past 1,000. So then I switched gears and I said, well, let's hit 1,500. I was like, let's help out 3 families doing, 500 each time. And we're pretty close to that one. I think we're $120 away from that. Um, but actually tonight, I got to go meet with another family that got brought to me. 6 kids, mom and dad just got new jobs. So, the money's not quite coming in quite like it is. So, I said, you know what, I believe we're all put in the right place at the right time for the right reason. And, this got brought to me, and I was like, I'm doing this for something. So I actually went with them and kind of explained who I am, what I do. Turns out I actually do know the guy. So that's how small the world is. And, I was like, there's nothing but respect. Everybody has a hard time every once in a while. Here's $500. Use it as you need. And they're very grateful. Just the stories of people that I get to meet is really why I do it. The people that truly need the help. People who are trying to work themselves out, but just need just a little something. It's an amazing thing.
Especially this time of year. I mean, it's hard to go into the holidays and be struggling and know you can't provide for your family the way you're supposed to, let alone get them a little bit extra here and there. So I definitely appreciate people that go out of their way to help others, and especially this time of year. I mean, hell, trying to not have running water in the middle of winter. I mean, summer's a little bit different, but like having your water and your heat or your electric turned off this time of year would be horrible. Definitely the worst time of the year to do it in.
Absolutely. So yeah, so just bringing that back full circle is, I want to do something with the old merch line and see if I can start generate a few extra bucks on my own and, put it to good use. I spent a lot of years building I call it an empire, and I call them my Facebook warriors. I spent a lot of years building that up, and, we do a lot of good. I get all these crazy ideas and put it out there, and, everybody gets on board. It said, let's do it, because I don't bombard people with video cameras and, stuff like that. Once in a while I might take a picture, and I don't ever use real names, stuff like that. And I just retell the story, what we're doing, and keep reassuring why people do it. And, people trust in me to know that I'm doing the right thing. And, and we are, and we're doing a lot of good. We're putting good back out in the world.
And not taking the video also saves the respect of the people you're helping as well. So that way, it doesn't get out there and people don't look down on them and stuff like that for needing help when everybody actually needs help with something. It may not be financial, but
100%.
nobody's perfect. Everybody needs help with something along the way. And the hardest thing is to ask for the help. So it's great that other people are bringing them to you to help them, because I'm sure that they would never ask themselves, especially if they're trying to work out of it.
Absolutely.
So if anybody out there in podcast land would like to help out Jerry on his journey, make sure you hit him up. He's on the Facebook, he's on TikTok. He's not that hard to find. I'll try to throw out there somewhere in the episode with your tags and your how to get a hold of you again. Make sure that we get
Absolutely.
that on the edit for you, because it does go a long way. Any little bit helps, especially this time of year. So, and with the merch line coming out, once you get that finalized, we'll have to have you bring that back on here and see if we can help push that a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
So now that we got the first ever airing of the AI Outlaw out there, I promised you aliens today. Even though Joey isn't going to be around till next week, we might as well get a head start on it a little bit, because I know that's kind of the stuff that you're into. So it as much as Wes hates this, we did find something around the pyramids with that deep scan thing that they were talking about. Do you know anything about the scanning technology that they put around the pyramids and found all that stuff underneath?
Other than I thought they were using satellite imagery to detect like black holes or something in there where they're seeing more pockets.
They definitely found stuff underneath of it, according to their technology. And one of the things that they said was there was a huge room that had one of the unidentified flying object looking things, like the egg, the one that just showed up recently that they apparently shot missiles at or something like that, and it deflected off of them. But
No, I
they
haven't
said
heard that one.
they said that in one of the chambers, they think that one of those egg shaped things is in the underground caverns underneath the pyramid. So what is your feeling on all the unidentified flying objects that you've seen recently, or not you've seen personally that you've seen personally, but what you've read about or have heard about? Do you believe in the flying egg shapes, or is that just something that's pretty far fetched?
Oh, man, do I believe in life in outer space? Absolutely. But as far as how we portray it, I think it's kind of just been ran with from Hollywood. Um, but a lot of things are based on true things that get leaked or whatever. So, I mean, you never know. No conspiracy theory could be wrong at this point. And then when it comes to the pyramids, especially, there's a lot more there than what we know. How are these things built? And generation after generation, the stories weren't brought down. All of a sudden, basically anybody that had any knowledge of it was completely wiped and gone.
So they think that that has a lot to do with why they kept burning the library at Alexandria, so that way the technology would be purposely lost.
And maybe that is. Who knows? Maybe whoever did build them had something that he could see into the future and seeing that we would do nothing but horrible things with it. I mean, look, look at the advancements in technology we have with weapons of war. I mean, that shit it was unheard of back then. But do you ever want to release that kind of power upon somebody?
Me personally, not today, maybe tomorrow, but not at the moment. So are you a believer that at one point that the Sahara Desert was so one of the theories that got thrown out there was I think it was the Sahara Desert used to be a lush, like Amazonian type of land, and that the aliens got into a fight on the planet, and that's what like just obliterated all life in that section of the earth. And I can't remember which guy it was that was talking about if you went out and dug down into the sand, you'd find glass balls. And the reason that they're finding glass in there is that's what happens to sand when you get it at extremely high temperatures. It
Right.
turns into glass. So he's saying that at some point the aliens possessed a technology that melted rock and stuff like that, and they turned it on themselves and they had a war, and that's the remnants of the war is what happened and turned it into a desert with glass balls if you dig down far enough into the sand.
And that's very possible too. Yeah, I think I don't know exactly more of like an Amazon type, but I do believe there was a lot of water around there. I forget which pyramid it was, but it's got that disassembled boat in the basement.
I
You know,
haven't heard about that one.
yeah, they pulled a boat out of the very bottom of one of those pyramids. I don't remember which one. Which why in the desert would you need a boat?
Yeah, I mean, there's proof that they're finding now that there used to be a lot of rivers and stuff that ran through it. They're finding like the marks of it and stuff like that. But what happened to them? Where'd they go?
Right, where'd they go, how and why? And you know, if you want to stick with the manual labor built the pyramids, that's the only thing that makes sense is they had close running water to be able to float everything down and then use water and hydropower somehow to be able to get it moved where it needed to be.
So what tool do you think that they use to cut the stones and all that with? Do you believe it's just a technology that got lost, or do you think that it's something that we could do with primitive tools?
They say even with modern technology, there's no way that we can build it exactly like they are built. In I forget what the time frame was. Um, so I have to go back to the thought that it's a lost technology that there was something so great that it did all this stuff and either they destroyed it, because who knows, maybe it was more than one application, you know, or however it was powered. There's just too many possibilities when it comes to that, and why in all the pictures do like the pharaohs and everything wear the tall hats or whatever? Do they have elongated heads? Or bigger brains, anything like that? Who knows? And then are you pushing? If let's say they do have bigger brains and more brain power, are you pushing into some sort of telekinesis fucking era? I don't know. There's just so many ways you can spin shit like that. And then, but I also do believe that even all over the
I mean,
place,
I
not
can throw
necessarily
it
just
out there. There's a standing thing to where we got knocked back to the Stone Age by something. Something put us back to starting over on our technological journey. And previously, the previous technology we developed was frequencies because certain vibrations or certain tones can make rock and other things move in a different direction. Like if you're singing, you can shatter glass if you hit the right pitch and stuff like that. But you can also, if potentially with the right frequency, you can levitate rock or move heavy objects just by the frequency that you hit it with. Do you believe that's the case to where we went down a different technological path this time?
Yeah, I mean that's very possible too. But what I was also going to touch on was I do believe that how I don't have a time frame, but at one point in time on this earth that they were giants, not necessarily like 30 foot tall, but I think there were probably 7 to 10 foot tall people. I mean, they found different bones and stuff like that that back it up, but I think that would explain some things too.
Yeah, I mean, if the
Back
the
then,
people larger, well, they could move a lot more objects.
right. And I don't think it's that much to fathom to think about because it's obviously a fact that dinosaurs roamed the earth. Look how big those fucking things were. You know?
So, do you believe that people and dinosaurs existed at the same time?
I do. I don't know if it was necessarily in the sense that cavemen or Neanderthals, um, which, is portrayed for that time period, I guess, but I do think people are around. I just think whatever wiped out the dinosaurs wiped out everything, and basically Mother Nature says reset.
So the theory is going out there that we get to a certain level in our society, and then a cataclysmic event happens and sends us right back down to the hunter and gatherer stage, where we have to start over with the technological chase again, and we go different paths every time. This time we chose, electricity instead of and nuclear options, where before we chose a different path.
Right. And that's since we can't seem to figure out how old the pyramids are, maybe that's the only thing that was built strong enough to withstand whatever apocalyptic event happens and wipes everything out. And that's why nobody knows how the hell or when the hell they were built.
So that also goes back to not just the ones in Egypt, it also carries over the ones in South America as well. Uh, the Aztecs and the Mayans aren't taking credit for any of the pyramids or stone structures that were created, at least in everything that I've heard, that they just talk about they found it and repurposed it.
But their design, and I was going to mention that earlier too, is like nobody knows how those pyramids were built. If they repurposed it, to me, they would have done a lot more structural changing because like all the carvings and stuff that were on it were more their style, unless they just adapted that style when they found them and started doing all their stuff. And who knows? That's an option too.
So there's been people that said that the modifications that they did, like or the patching or anything that they've done to the structures, has a different pattern than the one that's originally there. So if they were the ones that built it and they had to fix it, then they would have used the same technology or the same structure standings to do it with, and it doesn't match.
Yeah, that's crazy. Who knows? Like there's Egyptians in Egypt, but nobody knows how those things were built. So maybe that was just kind of their descendants. They're the descendants of the people that were there before that knew how those fucking things were built. But
And
like I
what
said, the
does
big
it
question
take?
is,
What does it take to lose all that technology though, or to lose the writings or basically the instruction manual on how to do that? How many years do you think that takes?
right? Well, that's like with all the hieroglyphics and stuff in the pyramids. Why isn't there at the very bottom, the base, some sort of story of how or why these things were being built?
Or did we have that story and somebody just erased it?
That's a good thought too.
Or maybe there's still a society out there that has all the answers and they're just using the technology and dropping it in little bits to keep themselves rich and in power.
And there's that too. And that would probably go more along the lines with my superhuman theory too, where I think just every once in a while there's somebody of superhuman capability. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, people like that are just excelled at whatever the hell it was they did. I mean, you can name people and all other stuff. Those are just two big examples that I got.
Or take for instance, this one's right up your alley. What about Brian Shaw? How does Brian Shaw exist?
I don't know, man. That dude is, what is his size exactly?
Think he's 6'7" and 480, or
Yeah.
6'6" and 480.
6'8", 430 right
6'8".
now. But that was like Thor before he lost all of his weight. I mean,
Yeah.
that dude is just a machine.
So are they the dwarves of a previous society that are just popping back out? Or was that the size of everybody back in the day?
Well, I think it depends on the region, but yeah, because look at like Russians, Scandinavians, all those type of guys. They're more your Viking built looking guys. Maybe not the hair or the beard, just the sheer size. But then, you get to the melting pot of America, and we have literally everything. But then you get over to China and Japan. Now you can make an argument that Japan has stayed small because of when we dropped the A bombs on them, but they weren't very big people before that. So it's crazy.
So another one of the I love theories. Another one of the theories that came out was there used to be an alien race that controlled the planet, and they put a little bit of themselves in each one of the races that we have, or the subsections of humans. So that way you could tell which ruler ruled those people. So that's why the Asians look a certain way, the Vikings look a different way, the Aztecs look the way they did. That whoever was the ruler of that region manufactured the DNA to make them resemble themselves.
Yeah, that's very possible too. I mean, I think over the years, I'd have to see if I could find any of it, but I thought over the years they have found in different people, not regularly, but anomalies in people's DNA that they can't explain.
So I know the one that pops up on TikTok all the time is there were 2 chromosomes in our DNA that were deleted, and I believe 2 and 6 were 2 and 16 were fused together to shorten our lifespan, because if you read all the ancient texts, people lived to be 400 or 500 years old, so they capped it, and also that they kept us smaller than what we used to be in that DNA chain, is what I read anyway.
Gotcha.
It's either 2 and 6 or 2 and 16. I can't remember 100%.
Right.
You chasing everything I'm saying on the Google Monster today?
I just typed in unexplainable DNA in humans and seeing what's coming up.
That could be scary. You might go to one of those
Tell
porn
us.
sites.
Yeah, like ghost populations, stretches of DNA in people today that don't match Neanderthals or Denisovans, suggesting another extinct human ancestor contributed genes.
They also found those little guys. You know how when they represent the alien aircraft, it says there's only like a 3-finger pattern, something like, see if I can get it on the screen, something like that, that operates everything. So apparently somebody has found fossils or something that of littler people that would have been able to fit inside the spacecrafts that we allegedly have, and they had the three finger layout on their hands. So there might be a smaller version, because I think they're only like 3 to 3.5 feet tall, that might have actually lived here, because we have apparently the ships, and now we have the bodies to go with them that could operate them, that they used to live in the tunnels somewhere over in I believe where was it, in the Egypt area, not exactly Egypt, but somewhere around in that sandy area, or Turkey or something like that, that they found these.
Right.
So that would be a huge awakening if that actually was true and actually gets founded anyway.
Well, absolutely.
So what other large things do you think that the humans possibly couldn't have done on their own? What other undertakings?
Oh man. Probably some of the stuff that the Romans did. I mean, it's hard to believe that back then, like now, right now, worldwide, there's a population problem. We agree on that.
Oh yeah, there definitely is in every country.
So back then, how did you get so many people, thousands upon thousands, to go battle after battle when you're literally just walking right into each other? I mean, and just killing that many people, and then still able to repopulate an army or an area, or whatever.
So a lot of the theory behind that is, as they conquered the area, they adopted those people into their armies and forced them into fighting. They did it a lot of time by holding their loved ones captive to make them go fight.
Right.
Is the theory. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Right. But wasn't that kind of the basis of 300? Wasn't it the Persians or something that was just taking everybody over and absorbing them and then getting everything to bend the knee to him, and the Spartans just held their ground.
Yeah. So how do you explain Genghis Khan and him being able to conquer enough of the world and murder enough people that it actually left a carbon footprint of minimizing the population to a point where you could tell that life came back, like, and took back over public places, like all the forest came back, all of this came back, and you can see it in the carbon footprint that he killed so many people that it actually affected the geological samples.
I think he was just that much of a savage, and the people he had with him, they didn't give two fucks about who you were. They were steamrolling. And once they got the momentum and kept it up, either you're with me or against me mentality. And I'm sure he probably did some crazy shit to get people like, I don't want my intestines strung out in the streets and hung up, or something like that. From everything you read about the guy sounds like a savage.
And he, from what I think Mike Tyson said it. I don't want to get my ass kicked by Mike Tyson for misquoting him, but he apparently knew so much about Genghis Khan that he knew that his mom got married, and on the night of the wedding, she was taken from her husband before they consummated the marriage by some ruler, and she never saw her husband again and got pregnant by that ruler with him, and he came out holding onto a blood clot in one of his hands. Like when he came out, he was holding onto it, and
Yep.
they knew right then that he was going to be a warrior that conquered most of the known world just by how he came out of the womb and the story that came with it, because it was prophesized or some shit like that. That part I'm not 100% sure if Mike said, but I knew he said the other part. So don't kick my ass, Mike Tyson.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's shit like that is lost in history books, but only passed down through like stories and tribal knowledge for the most of what I know anyway.
Right.
And what did we take out of the knowledge that's getting passed down? Because every ruler had a hand in what was allowed to be written or put into books. So how much of our knowledge do you think got lost just because rulers didn't want that in there anymore?
Well, yeah, they always wanted to write their own story. Everything was about them. So yeah, you might as well get rid of everything else. That's what I say. Goes.
So what big technological thing do you think got just lost in translation? Because you have to have something that you got in your head that probably existed that just doesn't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, for back then, I think they had to have some sort of power and was able to harness it. And with Tesla coils, the way the pyramids were shaped and placed, I think they were able to generate electricity. And then if they had some sort of power tools beyond that, or they were able to manipulate it to do whatever they needed to do, like you said, with the heating up the sand, creating glass, who knows?
So how do you think that the electric transfer worked from the pyramids? Because I have my theory for it, but how do you think it transferred large distances from the pyramid?
I don't know. And they could have had some sort of conductor to be able to amplify the signal. I don't know how much distance they would have actually covered, but I think they were bouncing around kind of like Tesla coils. So I guess in that aspect, you could probably send it as far as you wanted to, as long as you had them spaced out where they needed to be.
So did the power transfer from pyramid to pyramid because they found them on every continent, or was it just a localized power source?
Well, as far as I know, it was only the pyramids in Egypt that were ever aligned with the certain stars or something, weren't they?
Every pyramid is on some kind of line and has I can't remember what the numbers are called, but like biblical numbers or something like that. Every pyramid, every large pyramid anyway, is built on some sort of geological thing that happens with the earth.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I would think, just in my mind, however they would set it up in
Like if
Egypt.
you
It sounded
laid
like
a grid over top of the planet, they'd line up.
right. And so I think it was probably the pyramids pulling it out of the air for as big and as high as they were, and that coating that used to be on them. And that was maybe transferring from the bigger pyramids down to the smaller ones to the coils. Um, yeah, I mean, anything you come up with, it can't be disprove it.
So supposedly there is now that some of the glacial ice has melted off of Antarctica, that they figured out that it used to be in a different location, and it also has pyramids on it. That the poles switched, and that's how it moved with some kind of crust shift, and the poles switched, and that's why it's covered in ice now.
Yeah, I've heard something about that. I haven't looked into that too much, but yeah, I heard that there was pyramids on there too, and that things have shifted. Um, but at one point in time, I do believe that all the continents were one. I forget what they called that. And then everything has been spread out ever since. So, theoretically, if you believe that, then things are still moving, which would kind of explain climate change and all that shit.
I'm not gonna dive too much into my beliefs on climate change, but the heating of the planet has never been a problem for us. It's the cool down period is where we get down to almost non-existent, is because there's not enough resources and fuel to keep the population alive, and it's basically got to start over every time it hits an ice age.
Right. And, that makes sense. Mother Nature is undefeated, and you can only fuck around so much before she's going to push back.
So we have we dove into it a little bit just to give a little bit of a taste and talk, but you have been scheduled for next week with Dirty Dursky to dive into all this alien and previous society talk and all that. So I just wanted to make sure that we got a little bit of your talking points and stuff that you want to research, and I threw you out some stuff for you to look into to get ready for the Dursky. So is there any other final thought about the aliens like living underwater, or the previous reign of people on the planet that you want to toss out before we get ready for part 2 on the Dursky side of things?
No, I think that's a good starter. We'll catch his opinion on things, and then we'll dive in, especially the underwater stuff.
All right. So one more time, throw out your handles on your platforms to make sure that we get the AI Outlaw songs rolling out there in the public. What do you got?
No, just most everything we found on my Facebook, Jerry McDowell, or same as TikTok. Most my emails hooked up to everything. That's Shaggy23433 at Gmail. Or JMac, the AI Outlaw.
All right. So when you go out there and contact the AI Outlaw, make sure you hit him up on his good charitable stuff that he does as well, if you're interested in piling on and being part of his warriors out there. So make sure you tell the wife hi for me, and I will let you go until next week. How's that sound?
Sounds good, brother. See you then.
All right, man. Later.
It's
called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the Dolphin, and you're the flower.
Well, I guess I think it should be Dr. Parker, but